also scientists from NASA that have written papers and studied the psychology of astronauts. And of course, the job of a space psychologist exists. Even so, there could still be more people working on this problem, and new solutions are always needed. Thank you.
I think that's an interesting topic and very important. I think we have had some issues in space or related to psychology, psychological health. There's also a really good researcher that's worked with NASA and has written several books on this topic. His name is Professor Nipmuc, K-A-N-A-S. And I think it would be great if you can't get a copy of his book, or we could put you in touch and you could see some of his research papers.
Yeah, that sounds like a good idea. Thank you.
All right, another presentation is next. Okay, what is yours?
Biologically inspired design. It's number 6.
Okay.
Hello everyone, my name is Ken and I'm going to be presenting on biologically inspired design. Alright, so what is my epic challenge? My challenge is to send a rover to the Martian surface whose design is inspired by the abilities of mountain goats. I want to be able to create a rover that will be able to climb up and down steep ridges and mountainsides, and it will also be able to maneuver over large objects such as rocks that are found on terrestrial surfaces. I want to incorporate years of evolution undergone by natural creatures and be able to use them in our endeavors in space development. So, how are mountain goats able to climb so well to begin with? Mountain goats have the ability to generate impressive jumping force with their hind legs, as well as strong upper body and neck musculature, and an ability to lock its shoulders in order to carefully control its center of gravity. The hooves of a mountain goat, which have a hard outside and a soft inside, can be exposed by their moving toes, which can be used to grip surfaces. The combination of hard and soft soles allow for its grip to be maintained on a wide range of different surfaces. And how are current rover wheels built? The emphasis on wheels are currently placed on rotation. The wheels are made of titanium tubing formed with the same process used to make high-end mountain bike frames. They are made of aluminum with cleats for traction and curved titanium spikes for springy support. They are 52.5 centimeters in diameter, and one full turn of the wheels with no slippage drives the rover 1.65 meters. So my process, summarized, is to add more gripping features to the wheels of the rover, similar to the hooves of a mountain goat, so that it could grip surfaces better. Try to add features so that the rover could balance itself better, because currently the rover is too has too large of a width to be able to balance efficiently on steep ridges, and to strengthen the legs of the rover so that it can maintain its strength when it's climbing up steep cliffs and mountainsides. Here's my contact information. Any questions or comments? Yes.
It sounds like your idea is pretty different, but I believe at MIT they developed a robot that has similar designs, like a similar kind of mammalian design with the 4 legs.
Oh,
and it actually,
sorry. Does it resemble a cheetah, I think?
yeah, kind of.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, I was going to say something very similar to that. I forget the name of the robotics company that does that, but they're doing amazing things, right? And with 4 legs, and they have to understand balance and center of gravity. And I think if you think about starting with that as an initial design, I think your biologically inspired design inspiration is kind of interesting, looking at the hooves of the mountain goat and understanding how that maintains and is able to change in order to accommodate the different surfaces is really interesting, right? I would hook up with those people at MIT, or I forget where they are. What's the name of it? Boston Dynamics, exactly. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, but I like the biologically inspired design. We try to get you guys to use that, to get you to think outside the box. And so I thought that was a very interesting example of a champion adapter like the mountain goat. I mean, those creatures are amazing, how they can scale the sides of those steep cliffs. And that was really awesome. Great idea.
Thank you.
If you go on their website, there's a contact information for Boston Dynamics, because I've reached out to them too.
Thank you.
Sarah on algae?
Hi again, this is another team, Harrison Patrizio, Timothy Mosher, and myself. We are working on algae for water purification and, if time permits, to look more into the bioelectricity aspect also. So this is the outline that I'll be speaking now. And, we are actually going to do some experiment this semester for the water purification, and then look more into the bioelectricity. Algae thrives in nutrient-rich waters. That means because it uses carbon dioxide and produces oxygen, it is a good source to purify municipal waters like sewage or industrial effluents. And by doing that, it also produces biomass, which could be used for the bioelectricity. And our team will be, we are planning to do this experiment using 3 different types of water: the pond water, distilled water, and storm water. And make sure there are no inorganic molecules, and see if there is any pathogenic bacteria present after using the algae as the purifier. So we are going to use these apparatus. So the gas chromatography, high pressure liquid chromatography, HPLC, and spectrophotometer, just to make sure that the algae is classified and we can find the concentrations of the pathogenic bacteria at the end of the experiment. And this is just a table showing, which I got from the equipment manufacturer's website, difference between the two. And this is the other aspect, if time permits, we like to look at the bioelectricity. And this is based on the concept like algae, like plants, uses photosynthesis to produce its own food. So it does have the chlorophyll. So the photosynthesis occurs in the chloroplast, and during this, the oxygen, protons, and electrons are the byproducts. So these electrons, they are captured by the protein, and they go through a series of protein, and that's how they synthesize their own food, the algae. So some of the researchers, they were able to put gold electrodes into the chloroplast of this algae and tap the electrons that are excited and are at a higher energy level, and use those to produce electricity a little bit, which was 1 picoampere. But it is a beginning that you could produce bioelectricity from that. But at this rate, that's a picture showing the photosynthesis. At this rate, we would require 1 trillion cells to photosynthesize for 1 hour to get the same energy like that of a AA battery. that's a prototype showing. So the future research need to be looked at is, how viable it is commercially. Can we use larger chloroplasts for algae, maybe bigger electrodes? An important thing, because we are taking away the electrons that actually are very critical to manufacture the food that algae has to manufacture its own food. And we need to make sure that algae is alive during the whole time, even to tap the electrons. So once the electrons are tapped in, the algae will die. So those are all the challenges to be looked at.
Sarah, that's really interesting. Remind me, and to remind Rich to remind me, to hook you up with some of the researchers at Hämeenlinna in Finland that have a bioreactor, and they're looking at how to make use of it, and they want to partner with people in the United States. So this might be a good opportunity of hooking you up with some of our friends in Finland.
Thank you, sure.
So, thank you. Is there anybody who hasn't presented yet? Oh, you guys been holding out. Okay. What is your presentation? Osteoporosis? Is that what you said? What number are you?
Hi, my name is Jaden Clark, a sophomore in the Science Academy.
I'm Bianca, and I'm also a sophomore in the Science Academy.
And I'm Alicia, I'm a sophomore in the Engineering Academy.
And we will be researching the exploration, we will be researching living conditions in space. Okay, so our epic challenge is to reduce the effects of osteoporosis in microgravity, so like in the, on the moon and stuff like that. And to find a better way of exercising in space so we can reduce the effects of osteoporosis. And first step we need to do for this is to figure out what exactly osteoporosis is.
So a little about what osteoporosis is. It is severe bone loss, and when your bones are less dense than they should be. There are more than 3 million U.S. cases per year, and it is caused when the rate of new bone creation can't keep up with the rate of old bone removal. And it's important because it can cause increased risk of bone fracture.
Now we need to focus on osteoporosis in space. And although it's not noticeable while you're in space, once the astronauts return to Earth, it'll be harder for them to walk, and because their bones will have a reduced bone density. In space, bones are needed to support the body, so the bones will lose about 1 to 2% of bone mass per month. And some ways that astronauts, some things astronauts do to help maintain their weight-bearing environment is physical exercise for 2.5 hours a day, 6 times a week. And they use restraints to stay on the treadmill. And there have been ongoing studies recently that are investigating the use of medicines used for regular osteoporosis on Earth, and they're applying these medicines to osteoporosis in space, such as biphosphonate. And they've also found that increased consumption of calcium and vitamin D can also help to reduce the effects. So you can contact us at these email addresses. Thank you.
So, I don't know how you get in touch with this guy. last year at our school, but at this point his school email should be deactivated. But I might as well tell you, there was this guy named Cole Levon, I believe his name was. He, if I remember, had a similar subject matter about like the loss of bone and also partial atrophying of people in microgravity. If you can get if you're able to contact him or see his own work, maybe he can help you. Again, though, I have no idea how to contact him.
Okay,
Sorry.
thank you. Are there any other questions?
Yeah, the other folks are the life sciences team director at Johnson Space Flight Center. This is where they devote a lot of their time and energy, not only radiation, but also monitoring the health of astronauts in a microgravity environment on space station. And also we have no clue as to what to expect when we have a reduced gravity environment, when we go back to the moon and eventually to Mars. So these are all hot topics for research. And so as you're finding these folks' names, maybe we could make some contacts so you could contact them directly. Okay?
Okay, thank you.
When you came back, did they give you a battery of tests too to see?
Yeah, well, we were only up in space for 14 days, but even if you're only in space for 14 days, sometimes you have to be careful when you come back to Earth. It's easy to sprain a muscle. You don't necessarily lose a lot of density from your bones, but a lot of the astronauts, if they don't exercise, and that's a lot of time when you think about it, 2.5 hours a day, right, 6 days a week, that's a lot of time that you have to spend just to keep your body in condition in microgravity. So